Once the regular season begins, every team's chink in the armor is revealed. Some contenders are expected to fall short of high expectations, and the reason why is totally different for each. Whether they've had some major offseason losses, lack of depth, or even talent, there are some obvious issues here. With that in mind, let's take a look at several teams who have win projections of 8.5 or even higher, but are likely to disappoint in 2022. First up, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals avoided a quarterback crisis by signing Kyler Murray to a long-term contract agreement, but the danger isn't over. When Chandler Jones signed with the Las Vegas Raiders, the Cardinals lost their top pass rusher, leaving them right on the edge. Safe to say they're not in good shape for the upcoming season. J.J. Watt is still on the roster, but he's only played 31 games in the last 3 seasons due to injuries, and he missed 10 games in his first season in Arizona last year. On paper, the team's receiving core appears to be strong, but they're not out of the woods yet. DeAndre Hopkins, the team's #1 wideout, will miss the first 6 games due to a PED suspension. So, the team will have to figure out how to add Marquise Brown into the offense, and then change his position once Hopkins returns. Coming up, those aren't all the issues either. Arizona let Christian Kirk leave in free agency, leaving the aging AJ Green and Rondale Moore as the team's depth options after Brown and Hopkins. And Zach Ertz is still Arizona's #1 tight end, but frankly, he's getting old. Not to mention, he had a pretty meh 66.9 PFF grade last season. In the Cliff Kingsbury era, the Cardinals have a bad tendency of failing late in games. Last year, the head coach managed a 10-2 record into Week 13, but the team finished the regular season 1-4 before falling to the NFC West rival Los Angeles Rams in the wildcard round. Arizona started the 2020 season 5-2 before the bye week, but finished 3-6 to miss the playoffs. It's a toxic pattern for the franchise, and one that Kingsbury has to fix if the Cardinals are to make a major leap forward. Next up, let's see if the Dallas Cowboys fare any better. Okay, so the Dallas Cowboys have one of the highest win projections in the sport, but we're preparing ourselves for the worst here. After all, the receiving core went from being one of the league's deepest to one of the league's most banged up. Early in the summer, the Cowboys traded Amari Cooper for a day 3 draft pick and declined to re-sign Cedric Wilson Jr. in free agency. So that left the Cowboys with CeeDee Lamb as the #1 pass-catching option. That statement raises a lot of eyebrows, for sure. Michael Gallup might take over as the team's #2 wide receiver, but we don't know when the veteran will return from an ACL tear suffered in January. Free agent signing James Washington is also out for a while and will miss key training camp time after suffering a right foot fracture, so we can expect Jalen Tolbert to start the season opener. Up next, the offensive line in Dallas isn't quite as powerful anymore. Injuries and aging have definitely taken their toll, especially at left tackle, where Pro Bowler Tyron Smith has played in only 13 games since the 2020 season. And then there's the fact that Dallas released starting right tackle Lael Collins, and guard Connor Williams left open on the market. So right now, the offense is one big question mark. With a small squad that's just a few injuries away from folding, Dallas could be in trouble in 2022 if they get some bad breaks. Next, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers may have tied for the best record in the NFL last season, but the team may take a step back this year. While Green Bay checked off the most important item on its offseason to-do list by extending Aaron Rodgers' contract, the future Hall of Fame quarterback will be without his top target. The Davante Adams trade left the Packers without a proven pass catcher on whom their trusty quarterback could rely. Green Bay will aim to replace Adams' insane 169 targets last year with lesser talents like Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, and even Christian Watson. None of the veterans are going to come close to Adams' target share, and while Watson has plenty of talent, he hasn't been in training camp due to his knee surgery, so stepping into a massive role this early in his career will be challenging, especially without important practice time to establish chemistry with his quarterback. Coming up, the Indianapolis Colts are going to disappoint, big time too. Last season, the Indianapolis Colts struggled down the stretch and missed the playoffs. Because of the failures, the club decided to part ways with quarterback Carson Wentz and sign Matt Ryan. But even that may not be enough. While the Colts have a lot to be happy about after Jonathan Taylor became the NFL's leading rusher, the team still has a lot to work on. For one, the wide receiver position still needs polish. Michael Pittman Jr. appears to be a true NFL wideout, but Paris Campbell has been a letdown. Even newcomer Alec Pierce must prove he's deserving of his high draft status. Last year, the offensive line blocked well for Taylor, but their pass blocking was questionable, to be honest. The Colts were ranked 30th in that area by PFF and are making a change at left tackle after Eric Fisher's contract expired. If the offense can't shoulder the load, Indianapolis will struggle to meet its 10-win projection in 2022. Coming up next are the Kansas City Chiefs. By dealing Tyreek Hill, the Kansas City Chiefs made a pretty controversial move, one that could come back to haunt them this year. After all, Hill was a major part of Kansas City's offense during its 4-year run to the AFC Championship game. Over the last half-decade, the 28-year-old has been responsible for a large chunk of the Chiefs' pass-catching performance, totaling 418 catches for 6,037 yards and 50 touchdowns. He also proved his worth as a rusher, gaining 452 yards and 3 touchdowns on 69 attempts. While Kansas City received a large haul of draft picks from the Miami Dolphins and saved a lot of money by not having to give Hill a new contract, his absence will hinder a receiving core that already has too few options. Let's look at how the Kansas City Chiefs lost a valuable member. After parting ways with Tyrann Mathieu, Kansas City may also take a step back defensively. The team failed to keep one of its top leaders and playmakers in free agency and may struggle to replace him. Signing Justin Reed provides a good replacement for Mathieu, but he lacks the game-changing presence that Mathieu provided. So, the Chiefs will struggle to meet their win projection in 2022 with these guys out and a lack of elite edge rushers. Next up, how will the New England Patriots disappoint? Last season, the New England Patriots returned to the playoffs thanks to an excellent performance by rookie quarterback Mac Jones. And yet, the Patriots may be headed for a decline in 2022. Despite many trades to strengthen the receiving core, the team lacks a playmaker on offense. New England acquired Devontae Parker in a trade and selected Tyquan Thornton with a second-round pick, but neither is expected to be an exceptional weapon for Jones to rely on. None of the current pass catchers established themselves as playmakers last year, and we don't see that changing anytime soon, especially after the departure of longtime offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. We might see a serious lack now. The team hasn't appointed a replacement for McDaniels, and offensive plays might be called by both Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia. With Dante Hightower on the market, the defense will be missing its heart too. The linebacker was a critical piece in many New England defensive units throughout, but the Patriots are moving forward without the 32-year-old. And finally, let's look at the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are coming off an outstanding season in which they won the AFC's top seed, but we're probably not going to see a repeat performance in 2022. The Titans' 2021 season ended on a bitter note when they were defeated in their playoff opener by the Cincinnati Bengals, and they may be in for some more heartbreak. The squad still has superstar Derrick Henry, but he's 28 now, and he can't be their crutch forever. Last season, he missed 9 games due to a fractured foot and was surpassed as the league's best back by Jonathan Taylor. And that's not all. Tennessee dealt top wideout A.J. Brown during the draft, which dealt yet another blow to the offense. The Titans replaced Brown with Treylon Burks, but the rookie will have his work cut out for him in order to match his predecessor's 105 targets from last season. With Ryan Tannehill remaining at quarterback, this squad lacks the potential to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. The 34-year-old's comeback in Music City has been a cute story, but he only threw 21 touchdowns to 14 interceptions in 2021 and may continue to deteriorate. That's a wrap for this video. Which team has gotten your hopes up? And which team do you think is going to perform? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one, and thanks for watching.